Hey guys, Will with Just Add Water. Today we're going to talk about the different pump models that we use. These two are our most common ones. There's a lot of variables that go into selecting your pump. First, I want to talk about probably the biggest misunderstanding is that you want more water or a louder waterfall, just put a bigger pump on it. There are certain aspects of selecting a pump that sometimes that works, but a lot of times what we see is you're really not getting anything extra out of it. So when we decide on what pump you want, whether you have a pond or a waterfall, we kind of vary some things. The first thing that we have to figure out is head pressure. So head pressure, or your total dynamic head, is the length of your plumbing line run as well as your elevation change. So if you have a 30-foot plumbing line and 2 foot of elevation change, we have about 5 feet of head pressure. So for every 10 feet of plumbing line run, that equals 1 foot of head. Every 1 foot of vertical elevation change is also equal to 1 foot of head. That's where 30 feet of pipe run, that's 3, 2 foot of head pressure, that's 2, 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, so with that, once we have kind of established your total dynamic head, now we can start selecting your pump size. There's some other variables that go into it, how big your pond is, how much, waterfall width, and that kind of stuff that we want to see. But that's kind of the first big thing that we figure out. The other thing that we look at, like if you have a pond, is, how many gallons you have in your pond, what's the frequency that we're going to turn that body of water over in an hour or in a 24-hour period. Too little circulation can cause water quality problems, clarity issues, that kind of stuff, less healthy for the fish, all of that kind of stuff. So there's a little bit of a nerd and a science that goes into selecting these. The easiest thing to figure out is your pump style. This one over here to my left, this style, this is our Aqua Surge pump. This is a nice energy efficient variable speed pump. We use these for predominantly only inside basins. So they're pretty much always in a pondless waterfall. They can be pond pumps if you have a negative edge or a wet well or something like that, where this grate is covered, not just open like in a skimmer box or something like that. This is not a solid handling pump. This one on this side, this is a solid handling pump. So when you get, chunks of algae or maybe a little piece of mulch or something like that, this pump can handle chewing that up. What happens on these ones is it just sits here on this grate, clogs in. Over time it can crush this in. Reduced flow is a big thing when we see these inside skimmers on your pond. So if we have a pond, we are always going with a solid handling pump like this SLD here. So that's the biggest difference in these two pumps. Similarity wise, they're both variable speed. They're both, very energy efficient. They both have 3-year warranties. These ones, if you want them hooked up to your phone to control speed and all of that kind of stuff, they're both smart capable. So on the Aqua Surge side, where if we have back to that pondless waterfall application or something like that, we have 2 different sizes that we frequently keep in stock. We have the 2,000 to 4,000 variable speed pump, and then this one is our bigger 4,000 to 8,000 gallons per hour. Picking out what size you have, we go back to that total dynamic head. Also, a very kind of important thing that often gets overlooked is your plumbing size. You can only physically push certain flow rates through different sizes of pipe, right? So here we have your 2-inch flexible PVC, pretty standard. Normally, like this is pretty standard. Once we get above wanting to push more than about 5,000 gallons per hour, we switch to 3-inch plumbing line. Obviously it's a full inch bigger than that. Normally we cap this at about 5,000 gallons per hour, whereas this 3-inch line can handle closer to 12. So depending on your situation, whether it be a new build or you're just trying to figure out what pump to install there, knowing what kind of plumbing line you have or what size is very, very helpful, because you want more flow, but you only have a 4,000 gallon per hour pump right now and you want it to be loud or anything like that. That's very, very easy to do if we have bigger pipe. Kind of your options are almost unlimited there. I can't really put something too big on something like this that we have in stock, but if you just have a 2-inch pipe, you're really only getting, like on this 4 to 8, I can't even get you 8,000 gallons an hour, right? Because you can't physically push that through. So this is another one of those key components that we have to break down and understand as far as what type of plumbing line you have in your feature. Another thing that's important to note is that there are other models, pump models in this Aqua Surge line and in the solids handling pump. Like you can get an Aqua Surge 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, like all the way up into that stuff. Aquascape also has their PL series 3, 5, and 9 PLs that are fixed flow rates, basically is all it is. But like I said, we like to carry these variable speeds because I can achieve all those numbers inside there and give the customers more capability to dial something in. So the biggest takeaway here for you guys, if you're trying to spec this out by yourself or you just have general questions on water feature pumps, is understanding that total dynamic head. And that's going to be your pump curve on there if you're looking online at like their spec sheet or something like that. Again, it's 1 foot for every 10 feet of pipe run that you have, and then 1 foot of head for every vertical foot of elevation change. So that's probably one of the most important formulas that you can know when you're trying to replace these on your own. The other thing is, as far as maintenance and stuff goes, is making sure that you're getting a solids handling pump if you have a koi pond or you're going to put something inside of a skimmer, something like that. If you don't have a skimmer and you have a basin in your pondless waterfall or fountainscape or something like that, then I recommend going with the Aquasurge model. Feel free to hit any questions in the comments, ask away. We can answer those right away for you, maybe do a follow-up video if needed. Also, subscribe to our channel. We post videos like this every Wednesday, as well as shorts on the daily. Have a good day.